When we talk about big economic policies, they can feel, well, kind of abstract, right? Like something that happens way up there. But what happens when those big decisions start to ripple down and hit a local business right where it lives? Today, we're going to trace that direct line from international tariffs all the way to one company's fight for survival.
So, let's say you're building a new home. You've got your budget for the land, the labor, all the materials, but have you thought about tariffs? Yeah, it's this often overlooked, hidden cost that can be a real shocker.
According to U.S. home builders, we're talking about a potential $10,000, 10 grand, added to the cost of a single new home because of recent tariffs. I mean, think about that. That's a new car, a dream vacation, just gone, thanks to this one policy.
So, where is all that money going? Well, a massive chunk of it, we're talking almost 5,000 bucks on average, comes from just one thing: lumber. The price of wood has been all over the place, and it's the single biggest driver of this whole price spike. And this doesn't just affect the people building, the ripple effect is huge. The National Association of Home Builders estimates that for every single $1,000 increase in a home's price, you get this. Over 100,000 potential buyers are just priced out of the market. This isn't just about one house. It's a major hit to housing affordability for millions of people. Okay, so why are prices surging like this? It's not random. It's a direct result of tariffs on key building materials. Let's really dig into how this whole thing works.
Okay, so check this out. Here in the US, we get about a third of our lumber from Canada. So, when tariffs make that Canadian wood more expensive, what do you think happens? Well, the domestic producers here at home, they don't have as much competition, so they can jack up their prices to match. The end result? The cost of lumber just goes up, period, no matter where it's from. So, let's move from the high-level policy stuff to the real-world pressure this creates. Because for the builders out there on the ground, this isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. No, it's a daily headache they have to deal with. This quote from contractor Steve Martinez really just nails the problem, doesn't it? He says builders bid on a project with a fixed price, but by the time they're actually ordering the materials, the cost could have just shot through the roof. They're literally caught in the middle, trying to pre-order what they can and just eat these totally unpredictable price hikes. And this is where you really see the difference between the big guys and the little guys. Massive retailers like Home Depot, they have the scale and the data to see these changes coming and absorb the impact. But the smaller independent suppliers, they just don't have that kind of leverage or that financial cushion. It leaves them way more exposed to all this risk.
And that brings us right to the heart of our story today. Because this isn't some theoretical problem. All this volatility pushed one company, a smaller rival to those giants, right to its breaking point. Here it is. An Illinois-based company called North American Builders Supply has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This happened on December 3rd, and they are, you could say, a direct casualty of a market just completely shaken up by these larger economic forces. Okay, so you hear Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and it sounds final. But what does it actually mean? Let's take a look inside the filing to really get what's happening with this company. Now, this is the really crucial part. Chapter 11 is all about reorganization, not liquidation. The company isn't just shutting its doors and selling everything off. No, they've actually stayed open, and they plan to use this legal protection to basically restructure their finances and hopefully make a comeback. So the court filing gives us a little snapshot of their finances. They listed both their assets and their liabilities somewhere in the ballpark of $500,000 to $1 million. So what that tells you is this is a company with real operations, but it's also facing some really significant debt. So what was the final straw? What pushed them over the edge? Well, they were already getting squeezed by rising costs and unpredictable sales. Then came the immediate pressure, a lawsuit from one creditor and a massive $500,000 debt to another. I mean, that's the kind of pressure that forces a company's hand. All right, so let's zoom back out for a second. This one company's bankruptcy, it actually signals something really important about the bigger picture for the whole industry. At the end of the day, this whole story is just a perfect illustration of cause and effect. You can draw a straight line from these big, broad economic policies like tariffs to crazy volatile material prices, all the way down to the intense pressure that can threaten the very survival of an individual business. It's a classic macro to micro story playing out in real time.
And that really leaves us with one final and I think really important question. Is the story of North American Builders Supply just a one-off, an isolated incident? Or Is it a warning sign? A sign of deeper stress crackling through the construction supply industry, especially for all those smaller players that are really its backbone? That's definitely something we should all be keeping an eye on.